The builders left no names, only pillars older than written history.
Göbekli Tepe was built before kings, walls, or written records. So why would people gather here before civilization had a name?
The pillars rose from a world we barely understand.
Some pillars may suggest human forms, but certainty stops there.
Wild animals cross the stone, but their meanings remain debated.
The question is not what was hidden, but what gathered them.
This was a world before cities had claimed the horizon. There were no written names, only footprints, dust, and memory.
The world around them was changing, but not yet into civilization.
Stone, wind, animals, and hunger shaped the edge of human memory.
There were no maps here, only paths repeated by living feet.
The plateau did not look sacred. It looked harsh, open, and real.
And yet, people returned to this place again and again. Something here was strong enough to gather hands, time, and labor.
Later, many would call this place a temple.
But one word can make an ancient world too simple.
Göbekli Tepe was built by people, not by a myth.
To understand it, we must begin with what remains. The ground still holds the shape of their decisions. Not answers, remains. Stones arranged before anyone wrote. Why? The T-shaped pillars are the first witnesses we can question.
Some rose far above a human body, shaped from limestone.
This was not mythic material. It was stone, weight, and work. Every edge began with effort, pressure, and repeated hands. Their shapes feel familiar, yet refuse to explain themselves. They were not scattered stones. They belonged to a built space. Arrangement means intention, even when intention leaves no words. Someone planned enough, and others trusted enough to build together. The architecture does not shout. It waits inside the ground. A pillar is not only height, it is weight made visible. Nothing here requires miracles, only patience, bodies, and repeated work. The surface leaves small injuries from hands we cannot name. Each stone belonged to a pattern larger than itself. Organization can exist before crowns, armies, or written commands. The stones show arrangement, not the voices that arranged them. A built space asks a different question than a single monument. Perhaps the work mattered, because the place mattered first. Then the stones begin to show another world. Animals. The pillars were not blank. Something had been carved into them. At first, the shapes appear like shadows caught in stone. Animals cross these pillars, but the stones do not translate them.
For them, animals were not decoration. They shared the world. We can see the carving, not the fear behind it. Beyond the stones, the living world moved without asking permission.
Were they memories, warnings, powers, or simply the world remembered?
The evidence allows wonder, but it does not allow certainty.
Still, people gathered where stone, animal, and silence met. The carvings bring us closer, then stop us at the edge. Time has softened the lines, but not erased the question. To stand before them was to face a living world. The carvings ask questions archaeology cannot fully answer.
What remains is visible. What mattered most may be gone.
Humans and animals shared this landscape before either entered the stone. The pillar keeps its images, but not its explanation. Perhaps meaning passed quietly through watching, returning, and remembering. We should not pretend silence is the same as a secret. To move forward, we return from symbols to hands. Because behind every carved animal, there was a human hand. The story of Göbekli Tepe begins again at the hand. These were not ghosts of mystery, but people working in dust. Archaeology finds scale, but also fragments of ordinary activity.
Every monument begins in a body that grows tired.
The work needed more than strength. It needed shared attention. There is no need for lost technology to explain human effort. The mystery becomes deeper when the builders become human. Footsteps turned a harsh plateau into a place of return. But effort alone does not tell us why the place mattered. What could gather them before kings could command them? The stones suggest more than labor. They suggest coordination. A shared task can bind people before a shared city exists. Work explains the stone. It does not explain the need.
A space like this is built around an absence.
People do not gather without reason, even when reason disappears.
The evidence keeps pulling us back from certainty.
For decades, the simplest word was temple. But the ground around the stones complicates that word.
Göbekli Tepe may be ritual, but not only ritual.
There are traces of life near the monumental stone. Daily life leaves smaller marks than monuments, but it leaves marks.
A place of meaning can also be a place of work.
The small evidence changes how the great stones feel. Not less mysterious, more complicated, and more human. People could work beside symbols without separating life from belief. The word temple points upward. The evidence also points down. A settlement is not only walls, it is repeated presence. The monument remains, but the lived ground changes the story. Stone flakes can speak of work without telling the whole life.
The great stones stood beside smaller acts, repeated every day.
A monument can survive while daily life becomes almost invisible. People returned, not as shadows, but as bodies with tasks. If we only look upward, we miss half the evidence. Meaning, if it lived here, stood beside the ordinary. This does not erase ritual. It makes ritual harder to isolate. Meaning can grow from repetition as much as from ceremony.
Göbekli Tepe was monumental, but not detached from the ground.
One person may pause in awe while another keeps working. The site becomes stranger when it becomes less separate from life. So the next question is not temple, but world. A living place is made from returns, pauses, and repeated tasks. The ground does not explain belief, but it shows presence. Small actions can survive in traces smaller than memory. We can approach meaning, but not enter it completely. Gathering does not always leave a ritual we can name. The stone preserves images, but not the conversations around them. Even near the pillars, life still had to move. This was not one meaning. It was a layered place. A place can teach without leaving a lesson written down. But the closer we look, the more the silence matters. Their silence is not proof. It is the limit we inherit.
The stone gives us surface, not the thoughts beneath it.
Perhaps reverence lived in distance, not ceremony. Every interpretation must return to limestone, dust, and ground. The place was crossed, not only watched. No single frame can hold what this place may have been. A child could learn importance before learning explanation. What is missing should remain missing, unless evidence brings it back. People came, stayed, left, and returned to meanings we cannot hear. The stones remain, but the voices around them are gone.
Archaeology can recover traces, but not every reason for gathering. The people left no script for what the stones meant.
The image remains, but the world that understood it has vanished.
Now the story moves from what remains to what remains unknowable.
The stones cannot tell us everything, but they tell us enough. They do not prove lost technology. They prove human organization. Before written commands, people could still move toward a shared purpose. Before writing, they were already placing images into stone. Their world was not simple, because it left no words. The absence of answers does not make the achievement smaller. What survived here was not a miracle, but collective intention.
A worn edge can carry more history than a written boast.
They were not primitive shadows. They were people making a world. The scale matters because people chose to make it matter.
Meaning may have lived in work, gathering, memory, and return.
Even the blank stone teaches restraint. When they left, the stones kept the shape of their absence. Thousands of years later, we still stand inside that absence. So the question returns to the carved animal in the dust.
What were they gathering around before civilization had a name?
It is not a secret, waiting to be solved. It is evidence that human meaning was already taking shape early. Those who understood it walked away long before written history began. Every answer must pass through this contact between stone and ground. The wonder is not that they could not build it. The wonder is that they could, together, before civilization named itself. The hands are gone. The question stayed. Before writing could name them, they had already shaped stone to endure. And the oldest stones still ask, what first gathered us?